Namaste. Welcome, brothers and sisters, and everybody else to Magick La Croix Speaks. As you can see, I have a guest today, and this is Keona. Did I say it right?
Yes,
Okay. How you doing, sister?
I'm doing great. Trying to
Welcome.
stay warm. Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. Um, so, for anybody who's watching this and does not know who Keona is, please tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I'm Keona. I am a medium. I'm also an intuitive tarot reader. I have my own business called Thesis, and which I do tarot reading, spell work, spiritual advisory. You name it, I do it.
So you pretty much a Janet of all trades.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's what's up. All right, so how long have you been in the craft?
A little over 7 years.
Wow. Okay. Okay. That's a pretty good time, I would think. You know.
It's definitely it came up quick. It
How so?
really you're so for me, I was so involved in learning and reading and discovering my gifts that before I knew it, it was like, wait a minute, I've been doing this for so long. It really did go by so the only thing I regret is not following my path when I was younger because I feel like
I think a lot of people. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead, you're fine.
No, no, no. Go ahead. I interrupted you. My bad. I ain't mean to do that.
Okay. I just feel like, gosh, I could have been doing so much more. But now, after talking to my ancestors, in this lifetime, it was the appropriate time because I do have 5 kids. So I had to take care of them. And now I can focus more on the craft and also raising my kids. And so,
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I often, when I reminisce about my path, and I've been on it for so long, I often wonder, like, where would I be if I actually had started younger than
right.
I was? So, I mean, but they say, everything in its time, though. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yes. Hello, hey, how are you? There was someone in the chat just speaking. Okay.
Hello.
Okay. So, do you happen to have a main practice?
No, I'm very eclectic. I am a devotee of Santa Muerte,
Mm,
which was pretty unexpected. I literally ran from her for like a whole year. I was just like,
yeah.
what? And it was fairly early on in my journey that I was just like, what in the world? I don't, you hear about Santa Muerte and you're like, wait a minute. And so she was just persistent. She was patient, but she was persistent. But no, I take a little bit of everything I learned.
I'm sorry, I'm just responding in chat again.
No problem.
um,
Unfortunately, I
so
can't see it.
yeah, it's people just speaking. They're just saying hello right now. They haven't asked any questions yet.
Okay.
Um, so tell the audience then, what was it that she was doing? Was she showing up in your dreams, or how'd that come from?
She started showing up in my meditation, and I'll be meditating, and she'll pop up in her black robes, and I was like, "What in the world?" And so it was one night. I was I usually before I go to bed, I meditate in order to go to sleep. And she came across a bridge with roses to
Hmm.
give to me. And after that, I mean, I just started crying. And she just hugged me. And, it started from there. Like from that
Okay.
moment on, I knew that I was hers. I knew she was my madre. I knew that I was devoted to her. Like it was so instant. It was so
Mhm.
it was so powerful at that time to be with her in her presence. Like she was in her full glory, and it
Really?
was just amazing.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Okay. Is it true what they say? I know I've heard. I know a couple of Murthy devotees, and every single one of y'all like has their full attention on her. Is it that she's? They say she can do anything. Is that true? Is there any truth to that?
Absolutely. There is one thing I had to learn that she could do everything.
Mm,
I didn't need any other deities because there was literally nothing she couldn't do. And at I said, the first 4 years of me devoting myself to her, um, I didn't. It was only her and my ancestors. But then I started uh, getting visited by other deities, and what personally, I think every devotee have their own relationship. But when I have devotees that come to me, I will speak to her first. I
okay.
would ask her permission. I'll ask her, is this devotee someone, I mean, is this deity someone that can come into my life that, can enhance it and to help me? And are you okay with that? Because she is very demanding, but
Mm,
she has to come first. If you give anybody else something, you give her something. And it's just out of respect. And I do have other deities I work with, but everyone gets along because everybody respects her, So
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
following the chain of command, helps a lot in my in my craft. So if I get somebody else something, I'm getting her something, even if it's a piece of candy or whatever the case, and she is in a separate room from everyone else. So
Wow. Okay. Is she as scary as they have made her out to be? Is she just that scary presence because she's so
she
powerful?
she really can be scary, but never to me or my family.
Okay.
Like I said, I have kids. They actually give her offerings to ask her to help them with something.
Mm,
They have their own personal relationship with her. She is
okay.
very, very loving. Um, if she's scary to you, then you probably shouldn't be working with her. Because she is not someone that you can just pick up and say, "Oh, I want to work with her." No, it doesn't work that way. Because
Right.
she'll let you think you're getting what you want, but she doesn't. She knows you can fake the funk all you want, but if you try to screw her over or use her, it just doesn't end well.
Well, I've said this about you know, dabblers, and there's a lot of them
Uh-huh.
around. I've said this that you can't just pick these deities up, just like, oh, I want this, and then that's it. You can't do
Hmm.
that. You know what I'm
Nope.
saying? So she's a major figure,
Hmm.
because she has millions of followers, from what I understand.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
okay, okay,
From different, and the thing was, because I am mixed, I didn't realize at the time how mixed I was, but I was like, well, I consider myself black, and I'm like, I was scared because I'm like, but you're Mexican. How can I be your devotee?
all right.
It's not, she doesn't care about any of that because somewhere down the line, our ancestors honored her. And that's where it comes back at, is that she, one of my ancestors, and she considered me her daughter. Like you definitely, dabblers are killing me. Oh my God.
Mm,
They'll be in a group
yeah.
a month from now, asking all these questions, important questions that they should already know. Next thing you know, they have a whole business. They're, charging out the woo-ha, trying to do spell work. And it's like, what? What in the world? And
Hmm.
it's scary because I've seen them
Yeah.
crash and
Right.
burn.
You just learned a month ago, and then now you're teaching
Yeah. And then of course it's always they want to do the love work, they want to do money work,
people. Yeah.
But
Yeah, I've seen it a lot.
nobody wants to work with ancestors. Nobody wants to learn protection work, or they want to hex somebody. This person cut me off. I want to hex them. Like, what? Like, really? Like, you're gonna use? They understand
So,
the energy and the strength it takes to do any of that work.
so in other words, they don't want to start from the beginning. They just want
No,
to jump right in.
no. And everyone I've dealt with,
Yeah.
everyone I do readings for that want to get into the craft, the first thing I tell them to do, you need to meditate. Learn how to meditate. Nobody wants to meditate. Nobody.
Mm.
It is so crazy. And people are like, oh, I can't meditate. I'm like, well, you look on YouTube, there's guided meditation. It's so easy nowadays to meditate and learn how to meditate. You can even get hypnosis done to help you. Like, it's no excuse. But
Hmm.
there's so many people, they don't, and then they want to know their gifts. Oh, where's my gifts? What can I do? That's for you to find out.
Right.
That's what you meditate for. How in the world do you speak to your deities and ancestors if you're not in touch with who you are? If you're not meditating and getting yourself in touch with the spiritual world, what are you doing? How are you doing any work? Like, who are you doing? Who's
These
helping you with
people.
your readings? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, it's the society we live in. They want it now. They don't want to go through that process, that
Mm-hmm.
growing and learning process. They want to go. Excuse my expression. They want to go balls deep
Oh
right
yeah.
away. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
And
So
then a week later, they're
I've
just like,
seen it. I've seen it myself.
yeah. And then a week later, they're like, well, it didn't. My spell didn't come true, and I didn't get what I want. And I'm like, oh, they don't have respect on
Yeah.
timing. They don't realize that timing is non-existent in the spiritual world. They are expecting it like
Right.
Amazon. They want Amazon, action, and they don't understand that. They are very blind, and it's scary because the more it's
Hmm.
exciting to have more people
Yeah.
wanting to learn, but nobody wants to learn the right way.
Yeah.
Nobody. And then you have these big wigs that swear, make all these false
Hmm.
promises and stuff. People that are more
Right.
rah in the craft, and people are just like, oh, well, I can do it because they said, no, nobody wants to do it the way that would benefit them the most. They don't realize that the power, the magic comes within. And if
Yeah.
you can get in touch with within, then what the heck you doing? It's going to get to a
Right.
stopping point, or
Right.
you're going to screw your life up.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Vicky. Hey, Kenya. And Vicky says yes. Spiritual Basics 101. She also says she loves her ancestors and doing protection work first, which is a
Yeah,
good thing. And Swords
absolutely.
Witch says they think it's like the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
Harry
my
Potter.
gosh.
Like Harry Potter.
It's so sad how they swear it's like the movies. They everything they see. Oh well, I'm supposed to be doing this. I'm supposed to do. I'm just like, really. And you got some that have these big ass businesses. Excuse my language, but they don't
No,
have an ancestor altar. They don't have an ancestor altar. Like, are you serious? You're
yeah,
not even. This is your team. Like, this is the core of your team, and you're not even in touch with them. You don't honor them. They don't.
yeah,
You don't drink coffee with them. Like, it just it blows me away.
right,
You're expecting these deities
right,
to protect you when they're laughing at you.
yeah,
They're like, oh, you're a clown. And they're going to continue to take what they can get from you until they get
yeah,
tired. What's going to cause, what's their motivation for protecting you? Like, what is their
right,
motivation? The ancestors, they don't need motivation. They've been protecting you since day one. I know everyone can think back of
right,
crazy things we've done or crazy things that happened that somehow you got out of it. Somehow you you came out unharmed. Like that's your ancestors, and people don't realize. Oh, they want to see. They want to say the problem is they want to put, oh, God's protecting me and God's doing this, and I truly believe there's a higher power, but it's your ancestors that's helping you. Like it's a transition from entering the craft and leaving the church. And you can't, people will mix those two up. They will mix those two up and they just want to jump in. But if you don't have your team together, you're gonna hurt yourself, and you're gonna hurt people that you love. And there's a lot of people that are up there in the groups fighting with each other, throwing hexes at each other. People would be surprised at how many people are throwing evil eye at you. Like I have a candle lit now, so I can make sure I am protected to give more energy to my ancestors, because people throw stuff for petty ass reasons, out of jealousy, out of anything. So it's not like I sit down and do protection work all the time. I don't have to.
Right.
I make sure to keep, I make sure my ancestors are straight. I make sure Santa Muerte is straight. You get to a point that you don't have to light a candle for everything. You shouldn't have to. If you have to light a candle for everything, then you still a baby witch, and you need to keep practicing. Like it comes to a point where that's where the magic is. It's in you.
Yeah, and like Vicky says, microwave magic.
Microwave magic is just so annoying. It's
Do you have a you said that you're truly eclectic, right?
Yes.
Do you have a favorite? Is Santa Muerte your favorite? Do you have a favorite?
I don't have a favorite. I don't. It's something. One thing I realized with me being eclectic, I'm surrounded by deaf deities. Anubis, goddess, the Norse goddess. No, the deaf goddess, the Norse goddess of death. I can't remember her name. She's gonna I'm gonna get in trouble for that.
It's not Freya, is it?
No, it starts with an H.
Hecate.
No, it's deaf. The one with
Hecate.
Oh yes, you're right. Yes.
Hecate.
I was like, wait a minute. I call her. I have a personal name for her when I first met, and that's what she's gonna kill me. Or maybe she doesn't want me to tell people that name, and that's why I cannot recall.
Right.
But yeah, I have most of my top deities are considered deaf deities.
Okay.
I had one woman, an older woman. She was like, "You're surrounded by death," and I just laughed because it's true. I am. Like my star team is, yeah. But she didn't know how right she was. She just saw death around me, and I'm like, yeah, that's my team.
And that's a good team, actually.
It is. It really
great
is.
Team.
It really is. I had to learn. At first it used to scare me, but then I realized, it's nothing to be scared of. And once I started learning more about my true abilities and my past lives, it made sense to me. That it made sense of why they surround me.
Do you have do you just go by Keona, or do you have a magical name?
No, I personally feel like my name was given to me by, family. And there's nothing more powerful than the name that you are born with. And in past lives, I had names similar to Keona also. So, no, I choose to use my name, which some people are like, oh man, people know your name. That's okay. I've had people throw stuff at me. My pictures are on my Facebook. I don't hide, but I'm also not afraid.
Right.
So you can find my name anywhere, but I feel like my name has power. My name is what my ancestors chose for me many years ago. So yeah.
Yeah, V says she has many names, referring to Hecate. Swords Witch says death is only the beginning.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Isn't that what they say? That movie, The Serpent in the Rainbow? Didn't they say something like that in that movie?
Yep.
Death is only the
Very
beginning. Yeah.
similar. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, do you have a specialty? Do you have a special brand of magic? Say it. Say it.
I can hex like nobody's business. Like, and it comes so naturally and so easily to me that I have to be very careful of the words I speak. I have to be very careful of my anger because I have done damage just on
Just getting mad.
wishing it upon. Yeah, just getting mad, just wishing it upon people. Money work comes pretty easily. They all come pretty easily, and not just tooting my own horn, but I realized the more I've grown,
Mm-hmm.
and the more I just got in touch with who I am and did the shadow work, things just come at ease.
It's good. That's what's up. That's what's
It,
up.
it
And
is.
like,
I'm telling you, it's the work you have to do. That
yeah,
shadow work and stuff was no joke.
it's
Right.
not. People think that's an uncomfortable process. Shadow.
Oh, it is. It's gonna. You gotta get to the nitty gritty,
Yeah.
and it brought up things I had buried so deep. I was like,
Yeah.
what in the heck?
Yeah. It's very uncomfortable. It's an
Very.
uncomfortable process.
But when you get on the other side, it's like it's so much easier.
Yeah.
It's walk. You walk through a whole different door, and
Yeah.
it's you don't worry, you don't stress. You already know everything you need, everything you want is right
Right.
there.
Yes. And like Swords Witch says you're on point and shadow work ain't no joke. Yeah.
Ah, thank you. But yeah, no, shadow work was not, and it's continuous. You're
Yeah.
always going to be doing some type of shadow work. So
Yeah.
it's not, I hear people talk about it and they talk like, oh, it's an ending. No, it's not. As long as you're breathing, you're going to constantly be tested and having to adjust yourself and go through these things. But it makes you stronger.
Yeah. So that brings up to my next question. You're from Virginia, right?
Yes,
So have you ever had to use the craft against a certain race of people?
absolutely. Um, absolutely. I'm actually in a redneck county, and it's considered a redneck county. I even when my children were going to school before we got locked down, they had bullies. They had kids that were bullying them. Kids calling them niggers, and yeah, we had some nonsense going over here. And so instead of me instantly getting angry and wanting to, those are my babies. I was ready to throw fire
Mhm.
on somebody's ass. I called on my ancestors. I called on Santa Muerte. And when we leave the house, I anoint us before we leave the
Mhm.
house. Even on the corners of my house, I have railroad spikes for protection. Very, very few people are come
Mhm.
in my yard, let alone come into my house. Um, so I make sure I never have problems with the police. I never have problem with any of the redneck around here. But it's because I do the work. I do put down the protection to ensure that we're okay because we are in a very rural area,
Mhm.
and being a single mom, it gets a little scary because they are not happy. They are not happy.
Yeah,
And
I've told people before, I said there's gonna come a time where all you're gonna have is magic. You're gonna
mhm,
have to. So you stop playing, stop being this microwave magic shit, and get serious about it. Because there's gonna come a time where magic is gonna get your ass out of jams.
right, right. I stopped working. I stopped working at my job during the beginning of all this stuff. And then every time I tried to go back into the working world, my ancestors were like, nope, you're good. Stay where you are, you know. And so that's what I do. It's just I work on my craft, I work in my business, I do readings, and I'm successful. It's trusting them. You know, it was a little difficult because I was like, wait a minute, don't go to work. My gosh. But, you know, trusting them and listening to them,
Mm-hmm.
my life has been so blessed. And I've come from, you know, I was in a very bad marriage before I started the craft. Before I started, at the end of the marriage, that's when I started working with my ancestors and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And if it wasn't for them in Santa Muerte,
Mm-hmm.
I would still be in that abusive marriage. Like he wanted me to fail so badly,
Mm-hmm.
and I've done nothing but succeed. Where he's having a bit of issues of being successful at anything, let alone keeping money. But I'm just so blessed.
Yeah.
Like they, if you listen to them, it's gonna come at ease. Things you need and want come with no problem.
Yeah. Let me. Vicky says her uncle just caught COVID-19. He was speaking bad of me. Look at that.
Mhm.
Go, Vicky.
Yeah, I'm
Peace,
telling you.
sunshine goddess. Peace, triple goddess network. Crystal. Vicky also says happy Ogun feast day, which is today.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Asha. Yes. 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 Um, Swords Witch says when that rent start backing up, they're going to stop playing and do some serious witchcraft.
Yeah, you
Right.
know, and that's why it's exciting to see more people coming into the craft.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the problem of people
Stay.
not teaching them correctly.
Yeah.
People taking advantage of them. You have all these big. For me, I found I'm very selective of who. We were friends like early on in my journey,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been very selective of who I deal with. And you'll see these big name people, you know, in the match community, and you're like, oh man, you know, should I be working with them? My ancestors were like, nope. I'm like, dang, okay. Well, what about them? Nope, you're fine. Leave it alone. And then last year, everybody started falling down. Like everybody business came out, and it was like, oh, now I see why you were telling me, no, don't do that. No, don't do that. You have to trust that you are even more powerful than these people that are so loud about it. You know, there's nothing wrong being loud about it, but you have to listen. That's why you have your ancestors, because they're going to tell you when somebody's phony. Even if they can get past your, you
Mm-hmm.
know, your wall, and you still not sure, your ancestors going to make sure you know real
Mm-hmm.
quick. They're going to make sure,
Mm-hmm.
hey, nah, we don't want that person around. You don't need that person, you
You'll
know.
know instantly.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, and it's all about trusting. That's why you do the core magic. That's why you
Mm-hmm.
meditate. That's why you work with your
Mm-hmm.
ancestors, because you realize how much powerful you are. You know, you doubting yourself, and here you are more powerful than they are. You know, it's people got to realize that our power, our gifts, they are natural. We were born with it.
Yeah.
And even though you know, my family is a big church going family, but
Natural. Right.
yeah, but you'd be surprised at what your great grandma was doing. You know, magic was all we had at one point. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't about having tons of candles. It wasn't about having all these herbs and these oils and all these crystals. They did that from
Mm-hmm.
within. You know, they
Right.
did that
Right.
within instead of doing, you know, that's what people have to realize. It doesn't matter what you have. Even if you have just yourself and a piece of paper, you're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be able to make that happen.
Make it
And if
happen.
you make it happen,
Right.
I'm telling
Right.
you.
Let me go and okay. Triple Goddess says Ashe La Santissima Muerte. She is powerful and protective. She also says, Ashe Ogun, and you are speaking truth. Swords, which says some only want to learn, so they could keep some dude that don't want them. Yes, that's actually true. I see a lot of that.
That happens way too often, and which is crazy because these people are doing magic, and they don't even realize that these people are protected also. So you're doing magic on this guy. What do you think his ancestors going to do? What do you? They don't take the proper channels because they're so obsessed with, oh, he's cheating, but I want him to be with me only. Instead of letting go the dirtbag for someone who's going to really treat you right. Is a reason why they're showing you this man's true colors, but they still go back to it. I don't understand it. And that comes back to self-love. That comes back to doing shadow work. If you got to do magic to keep someone, and then you're wondering why your life is crumbling. If you try to do magic against the wrong person, it can backfire because their ancestors ain't playing either. The ancestors is not going to allow you just to take over their free will.
Right.
It's scary how people are so quick to do that stuff. But again, this is why working with your ancestors and protecting yourself is so important. People have done magic work or love work on me, but they got hit by a wall. They got hit by a wall.
Vicky just says ancestors just moved 3 people out of her life for 2021. That's what's up. And Swords, which says candle can't bring money candle can't bring money. It's your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She says always backfire. Yeah, when you do spells against the wrong person. And I mean, a lot of these people are doing that. Like you said earlier, you alluded to this earlier. You said people doing things for the silliest and pettiest reasons. And they don't know it's the same law of the streets. You don't know who you fucking with all the time. You know what I mean? You really don't. You don't know what their rank is, and you don't know what their abilities are.
No. And people are very surprised to find out that I'm a devotee to Santa Marta. And it's not, I don't advertise it as much because it's not in everyone's business.
Right.
So you don't know who these people, who their Orishas are. You don't know any of that. So why would you? It doesn't make sense to me.
Unless there's somebody like you can see you're medium, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you said, when you said you saw something around me, I'm like, only a true medium can see what's around me, and it's big. But only a true medium can do that, and there's not a lot of them out there. So.
No. And I've been one since I was a little girl. I've been one, and my mom tried to deny that I was seeing what I was seeing, but ever since I was a little girl, I could see spirits. I can talk to them. I can hear them.
Are you self-taught?
Yes. Yes, I've always been a loner, a solitary, which I tried. But some people can't handle my energy.
Your energy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And sometimes it makes people feel challenged, or, they feel like they have to constantly be against me, but it's not that, I help everyone. But yeah, I wouldn't even say unfortunately, because I used to be the most bubbly, in your face person. And I used to be everywhere. And since I started the craft, I became super introverted. And I love being by myself. I love just being at home. I love just being able to talk to my spirits. And so, no, yeah, I'm definitely self-taught, but I have read more than my share. I have experienced more than my share, I've got my butt kicked before.
Yeah, it's crazy because most of the people who I know who are self-taught are the most powerful ones. Now, that's not to knock anyone who was taught by somebody else. That's not knocking, but it's in my opinion, in my experience, that when you're self-taught, you got to go through so much more to
You
get
do.
to a certain level. See what I'm
You
saying?
do. You go through the mistakes. You go through. They make you go through challenges after challenges, but it's only to make you stronger.
Right.
Like the things that I learned just last year alone has been like, wow. Because every time you go through one of those little, it's always a learning experience behind it. It's always, they always teach you something. Always, I and what people don't realize is even it being self-taught, because we take the time to meditate, because we take the time to spend with our ancestors and our deities and our orishas, I know I discovered different gifts on a regular basis. Like
Hmm.
you just like, but it's nobody's business, so we don't tell people. And people like to underestimate those that are self-taught, but they're fools to do it.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Vicky says she can't do covens at all. I don't think I've ever even tried. I don't trust people.
I don't. Yeah, see, my problem is I don't trust.
Yeah.
Um, and being able to read people and being a medium, you see what's attached to these people.
Mhm.
You see what you can see the spirits around them and the things around them. Like, no, I'm not tying my energy to just random people. And no. And I actually tried. I was actually interested in getting initiated,
I
but
thought that at one time.
yeah, but it wasn't my path.
Yeah.
And I honestly thought it was something I was supposed to do,
Right.
but I wasn't. I've always, my ancestors always allowed me to learn, but they're saying there's no need. There's no need for me to get initiated. There's no need for me to follow other people's footsteps.
Right.
There's so much more I have to learn. And when you close yourself down, when
Mhm.
you decide to be in a covenant and stuff, you stop exploring what's around you.
Right. Right.
You stop. It's sometimes it's like you don't realize, oh, I still more work. You
Mm.
discover new things. That's the best part about, for me, being self-taught, because I get all these messages and I'm not afraid to explore. I'm not afraid to, deities that come to me and stuff. I don't have to be, oh, well, no, I'm this, so I can't work with you. No, as long as Santa said I can do it, I'm good. And they all teach me something different.
Right.
All
And
teach me something
Sword Switch says, hell no, it's already in the DNA. Absolutely true.
different.
I constantly am stressing to people that, this magic really is in you. Our
Mhm.
ancestors brought it out naturally. If this is something that I don't care how they make it look and how they make it dressed up, it's not natural to them the way it is to us. It
No,
is a part of our
but
DNA.
this is why they tried to teach us all about so-called religion, and
Hmm.
tried to teach us that hoodoo is bad, voodoo is bad.
Hmm.
They ingrained that in our heads because they did not want us to realize how powerful we are.
Right.
Same way they gave us fluoride. Fluoride just classified junks up your third eye. There's no reason you need fluoride. And when do you ever heard of the government doing something for free to help us? They're not stupid. They are very aware of the fact that we are powerful, and it scares them shitless. It scares, and it should, because we are so freaking powerful if we can just get our shit together.
Right.
And and if people can stop taking advantage of these people that are trying to learn,
That right, right.
like that is a big. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
It's so annoying because people were just like, "Oh, I got to read from her, and she said I got to do this," and I'm just like, "Come on."
Give him a door pause.
It drives me crazy. But
Would
that's
you
people got to realize that the Europeans knew who we were,
from the
and
beginning?
this was all this whole, oh, the Bible. We ain't even gonna get on that. But
Yeah.
Europeans knew who we were from the beginning.
Mhm.
And they've done everything in their power to take away our power.
Absolutely. Would you
And they will continue.
would you consider yourself an adept?
Yes. Well, yes.
No. Be confident. Be
They were just
confident.
fussing at me. you sorry, they get chatty.
No,
But
that's cool.
yes, I am, but I will always be a student. I will never get to a point where I think I know it all.
And you
So
got
I,
people
you
out here
know,
thinking that.
yeah, and no, I know I pick up books all the time because there's always something else to learn,
A student.
and yeah, you always got to be a student, and you can't be afraid to, if you could do your DNA test, we will realize that we have such a mixture that you shouldn't be afraid to learn more about Norse gods and goddesses, and
Um,
Portuguese and stuff like that.
right.
Don't close down these deities that's coming to you that you're like, oh wait a minute, I'm black, I don't want to work. No,
It's all ours.
no, it's we are so mixed up.
It's all ours.
If you close yourself down to saying, oh, I'm only going to work with the Orishas and that's it, you're limiting yourself.
Yeah.
And I love my Orishas, don't get me wrong,
Right.
but when you limit yourself, that's when you're cutting half of your power source. If you're not showing honor and tribute to these ancestors that's not black,
Hmm. Hmm.
if they're in your DNA, yeah, it's yin yang. You're gonna have bad and good, but you can also control having your good ancestors from other races
Hmm.
in your life. And that's people don't realize you can't just be, oh, I'm just gonna work with them. And no, we are too mixed up for that. And that's how you
Yeah.
limit your power.
Yes. As long as I've been into the craft, I am still learning. I'm still striving to learn. I will never sit here and say I completed my studies. I would never say that. And I've been in, this is my 26th year in the craft. You know what I'm saying? And I have absorbed it all. And I still am finding stuff. So when somebody tells me something, and somebody said this to me before, that after 4 years they completed their studies, I just gave them, I'm like, really? In 4 years? Okay, whatever. You know what I mean? So I am a master student, like Vicky Washington says that. She said, Ashe, master student. And Swordswith said that you're a wise lady.
Thank you.
And Vicky also says Buddha loves her too. Yes, learn
Absolutely.
Buddhism,
Yes.
Shinto, all those Eastern
Yes.
systems. You know what I'm saying? Learn
Yes.
it all. Be a sponge
Yes. And
because it all goes back to us anyway.
it's about embracing yourself fully.
Hmm.
And if you're cutting off part of you, how are
Hmm.
you embracing yourself fully? How are you embracing what you're mixed with? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not I am black, but I am also quite a bit more of everything else. And I
Absolutely.
honor them. I show love and gratitude to all of my ancestors.
Okay.
Indeed. So
I if I didn't know you, if I was just walking down the street or I saw you in the store, anybody, this question's for you specifically, but somebody who doesn't know you, they see you out on the street, would they know you were a witch?
I have some witchy tattoos. Um, a lot of people say it's my energy. My energy gives off, you know, people will stare at me just because sometimes I am a bit witchy. Sometimes I have a witchcraft purse. Um, it's nothing that I don't hide it. Like I don't hide. I'm very proud of who I am.
Should
Um, so it's nothing I ever hide, but sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. Like I have a big Santa Muerte tattoo on my neck. It just depends on who's paying attention. If you're paying attention, you can see it, but if you're not, you probably look past it.
Yeah, it seems to me like other people in the craft, they recognize each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like me, I would notice I would
I would
definitely
say,
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
your energy is just like whoosh, it's bigger than life.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
one thing I've noticed when I was first on a journey. Like I said, we've been Facebook friends for a long time.
you. Yeah.
You always had the bigger than life energy, and
Oh, thank
you have a male ancestor who stands at your right side, and he is not to be fucked with. He
you. Right on.
is not to be fucked with.
Right on. Thank you. Thank you. Um, so I was going to ask this question, but I think you kind of answered it because I was going to ask, how long do you think it takes for mastery? But then you kind of answered it already. You said, you're a lifelong student.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to move to the next question. Um, do you own a business for the craft?
Yes.
Do you have like a store or something, or
Uh,
YouTube channel,
I
or
have
if someone wanted to hire you, how would they
yes,
go
I'm
about it?
on Facebook and Instagram, Keynote Thesis. Um, or you can always find me on my Facebook, which a lot of people seem to find me, but it's Keona Johnson on Facebook. Did we break up?
Yeah, you kind of
Okay.
froze for a second. Yeah.
I think there's rain out here. It's interfering with things.
Oh, okay. The last thing I heard was they could find you on Facebook. Was that the last thing you said?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. In this point in time, do you think that the craft is necessary for us as a people?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If we could finally come together, we would be unstoppable. But it is important to continue to open people's eyes,
Mhm.
make them question,
Mhm.
what's going on in their life and what they decide to do. But it's going to be necessary. It's going to be necessary very soon that people go back to their roots.
Mhm.
It's not going to get better.
Right. Right. It's
It's
getting
not,
worse.
it's going to get a lot worse quickly.
Hmm.
I try to put tidbits out there, for those who want to listen, but unfortunately, everybody's gonna, you can't save everybody.
No, and I've been trying to warn people for years.
Yeah,
Years.
and they just think you're crazy, or
Yeah.
yep,
Or I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm like, all
yes,
right,
yep,
well,
yep. Gosh, I get that a lot. I get
yeah. I
the
mean,
whole look. It's, it's so annoying.
yeah.
But then those same people will turn around and inbox me and want to have work done, you
Mhm.
know, or
Mhm.
want reading and stuff. And it's like, mm-hmm, I see you.
If they would just realize that it is really, there's no way around it. That is the number one thing that the so-called European is afraid of when it comes to us.
Mhm.
That's the number one thing.
Number
They're
one,
not going to tell
number,
you.
and people don't want to listen to that, but they are scared senseless, but they also steal from it too. It's a lot to realize, hey, they're on to something.
Hmm.
And, but they've
Like,
been doing that for many years.
yeah. I mean, when I tell people that so-called Jewish magic, the Kabbalah, Kabbalistic magic is ours, I get looked at like I'm crazy. I'm like, okay, okay, these
And
people are your ancestors, not them. They not only fabricated history, they stole your history.
exactly.
You
Oh,
know?
yes. And people don't want to, like you said, people look at you like you're crazy.
Yeah.
But we all come from, for me, it always made me question, how can you say God was a man when the woman is the one who can create that? So, it always makes me it baffles me
Mhm.
because it's already been proven we come from a black woman.
Mhm.
So why do you think that we don't have any rights to any of that? Like,
Mhm.
we come from that.
Yeah.
That they come from us,
Mhm. They,
and nobody, and but
yeah,
but but we aren't supposed to do. They don't. Oh no, it's they started this, they started that.
ain't
No, they
starting nothing.
didn't.
Nope,
Nothing,
nothing.
nothing
Not
at
a thing.
all. It
Um,
drives me bananas. It
yeah.
really does.
Vicky says that people just afraid of the craft, and yeah, absolutely. Their number one tool is TV and media,
Yeah.
and they have made us as a people and as a whole afraid of our own shit, our
Mhm.
own power. They've made us afraid of that.
Yeah,
I would have to
absolutely.
say I hate giving them credit for anything, but I have to give them credit. They did a damn good job at steering us away from our own shit.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. I mean, you got people that won't even read the Book of the Dead because they think the book is evil.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like, you can't, man. They did, yeah. They brainwashed the hell out of us. Like,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
brainwashed the hell out of us.
yeah.
But the thing is, it doesn't make any sense anymore. You have the internet, you have books, like you have people telling you, and you still choosing to avoid it, and stay brainwashed. And that's you. There's nothing I can do for you. But I tell you what, I'm raising my kids. My kids
Good,
gonna be raising their kids.
good,
So
good,
my family will always be in the craft.
good.
It's no stopping that. Like, you,
Yeah,
you can't
yeah,
brainwash us anymore.
yeah. Vicky, Swords Witch says they're gonna learn. Vicky says she'll just be a crazy conspiracy lady. And that's why they wrote her out and love to suppress the woman. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
Swords Witch says they think death is evil too.
Yeah.
It's not. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Exactly.
what do you
Exactly.
what do you attribute this occult trend to? Do you contribute to any, I'm sorry, attribute it to anything? What do you think is the
Um,
case?
I personally, it was the fight between the black witches and white witches, which
Mm,
opened my eyes,
okay.
because people started fighting back and saying, "Hey, this was ours." Black people started standing up and saying, "Hey, you can't take credit for this," because they'll take credit for everything. They just took Someone was just trying
Everything.
to take credit for some Chinese divination, and they will try to take credit. But now we've been standing up and fighting back, and that's awesome. But the thing is, we still need to all come together as a black family. You
Yeah.
know, everybody needs to come on one accord, because you got people that other black people that fight against us, and it's
Mm.
no. If we can finally come together, we would be unstoppable. But yes, I do believe the fight between them has opened up a lot of people's eyes.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you watch American Horror Story, but
Yes.
Coven, in
Mm-hmm.
Coven, Angela Bassett played Marie Laveau.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I always say too that they tell the truth in everything in their movies and
Mm-hmm.
TV. You just gotta pay attention. In one episode, Angela Bassett told Fiona, she said, "Everything you got from us." You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So that's just one example of them constantly telling on themselves.
Right,
You know what I'm
right. And
saying?
that's what I tell people that all the time. Every time you think these fantasy books are make believe, no, they started from a point.
Hmm.
So where people are like, oh, there's no such thing as fairies or vampires, people
It
need to
comes
stop
from
doing that,
somewhere.
because it comes from a source,
Hmm.
and they're calling it fantasy
Hmm.
to throw us off. But for real, there's fairies, there's energy vampires.
Absolutely.
There are, man, all these things that we think is fantasy isn't.
Mhm.
You go ahead and try to tell my fairies they ain't real. You won.
So I do have a question in the room. Vicky says, so if Santissima Muerte comes to me, I can work with her. Floor
If
is
she
yours.
comes to you, if she comes to you, I would talk to her. She may be coming to protect you. She may be coming to work with you. Um, I wouldn't be so. People have to understand if you're going to work with Santa, it's for life. Not only is for my life, but one of my children, if not all of my children, will pick up working with her.
Mhm.
Um, it is not something you can sit down. It's not something you can be like, oh, I'll be, her candle when I'll get it in a couple of days. No, when you work with her,
You
it's
work with
every day. You pray to her, you give her the love. The thing is, it's not work for me because when she loves me, maybe more than my mother. Like she loves me, and she shows me that love every day. So it's not work for me. It's
that's
just
all.
showing my mother love. It's showing
Mhm.
my mother respect.
Mhm.
And you have to understand if you're going to work with her, it's for life. Because if you pick her up and you put her down, that won't be a good look. That's not advisable to just drop her. You're gonna put
Yes.
it one way or the other.
Yes. Amir says Lovecraft Country is a good one. I was like, it goes right back to what I just said. They
Mm-hmm.
love telling us about us.
Mm-hmm.
Lovecraft Country is excellent.
Yep.
People may think it's weird. I'm like, that is telling y'all
It's
who
right
y'all
there in your
are.
face.
They constantly do it. But I think the reason that they constantly do it is because we constantly don't pay fucking attention.
That and also
Yeah, I
because
lose.
they want to throw, they know we're not going to believe it. They throw stuff at us because so many
Right.
people will be like, "Oh no, this is just TV. This is just movie," and they're banking on that too. They're banking on you saying, "Oh, whatever." Same way with the alien movies.
Right.
They're banking on you saying, "Hey, this is just a movie. We don't need to believe it," and that's how they get people. If they can't get you by religion, they're going to get to you by any means necessary.
Mhm.
And that's,
Right.
they've been doing that forever. But yeah, Lovecraft was awesome. I do hope it comes back soon.
Yes. Yeah. Awesome. Yes. Yes. Um, okay, you got another question in the room from Swords Wits. Are men afraid of you when they find out what you're into?
Yes, they are.
I might have lost her.
Oh, am I here? Am I back?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I
you're
don't know
back
what
now.
she's
Yes.
doing it, but yes, they are. Men are scared shitless.
You with me?
They are honestly, and even yeah. I mean, half of the time, if a guy's asking me out, as soon as he finds
Not
out,
shitless.
yeah, shitless. Oh yeah, shitless. I mean, when they find out I'm a tarot reader, they're just like, oh, wait a minute. And let alone that I'm a medium, and yeah, I have my best friend. He's probably the only man that's come into my life and embraced who I was. There's a lot of men that are very scared, and I am single as hell. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that they're scared to death. They are, but it also helps me uh, be selective of who I deal with. Selective of who I want in my life. I'd rather be single than be with somebody that we don't mesh well together. Because you come into my house, I have altars everywhere. I have candles everywhere. I don't hide it. I don't hide it from my family. I don't hide it from anyone else. So yeah, it gets a little difficult.
Yeah. Um, yeah. All the females that I know are mostly single. Matter of fact, I don't think I know of one single partner pun. I don't know of one woman who is married in the craft. I may know one woman,
Mhm. And
but
that's because I feel like it's men scared. Men are scared because one, you don't want to deal with somebody that can read you. You know what I'm saying? Until you're ready to commit, until you're ready to come be serious,
yeah,
no, they can't hide stuff. And then they're also worried that we're gonna hex their ass after we find out they're doing dumb shit. Like
right, right.
it takes a strong man to um to be able to embrace me as a woman, as a goddess. You know, I come with a lot, and I know that person. He'll come when it's time, but
Mhm.
I it's a lot to deal with. You know, there's a lot to embrace if you're not already in the craft. So
Right.
I do try to date people that are already in the craft,
Mhm.
but that makes it even hard. That's hard too because there's a lot of fakes out there.
A lot.
There's a lot of fakes and a lot of men that realize, oh, there's some beautiful, powerful women in the craft. So I'm going to jump in it when they fake is uh,
$2 bill.
$2.
Yeah.
Fake is hell.
Right.
But that's the best part of knowing, having this intuition that you
Hmm.
know, just by seeing this picture, if this person gonna be good for you or full of shit.
Hmm. Okay. Well, I'm going to wrap this up. It doesn't look like we have any other questions. I want to thank you for
Thank
sitting here
you.
and talking to me. One more time for hey Deuce. I didn't see Deuce, and Demarcus' mom says you are beautiful.
Thank
Um,
you.
yes, sisters complimenting other sisters. I love seeing
I
that.
appreciate that.
Yes. Would you come back if I asked you to come back and chat with me
Absolutely.
again?
Absolutely.
Okay. And if anybody didn't actually see, and I'm going to put it in a description box, how can someone reach you if they want to contact you for like reading or any of your services? How would they contact you?
It's Kino Thesis on Facebook and Instagram.
And she's on my friends list, y'all. Y'all can
Yes.
come hunt her out. She's right there as Keona.
Yes.
So, okay. So I want to thanks again, Keona, for coming and chat with me. Thank y'all for coming, and we're gonna get out on it. Yeah,
Thank you
get
so
some
much for
time.
having me. I had
You're
a
welcome.
great time.
So did I. So peace, y'all, and peace to Keona. Thank you. Appreciate
Have
it.
a good one, guys.